adventurers. So today I wanted to film a little video showing what is inside of my first aid sort of essentials kit. So I bought this kit before from Canadian Tire, and it is a 1 to 2 person first aid, medical supplies, and survival tools kit. But I've also added in a lot of my own supplies and materials into this kit to make it work exactly for what I need when I go backcountry camping. So I thought I'd share that with everyone because I know a lot of people have different ideas of what they should be bringing as essentials when they go into the backcountry, and so I thought I would share. So let's get into it. So this is the first aid kit here. It has a little handle at the top and 2 zippers that go all the way around, one that has a little tag to it, one that does not, and they open it up all the way around with this side not having a zipper. So on the outside, on this little handle bit, I have a little key fob here. This is a Night Eyes brand glow-in-the-dark keychain. So I put this on my first aid kit handle so that if I'm ever looking in my pack late at night or somewhere in my tent, a flashlight will pick this up and it will be a bit more reflective so I can find it a little bit easier. I thought that my first aid kit was a good piece of gear to put that on. So if we open it up, you can see that there are 2 clear pockets on either side, and it opens up kind of like a book. So the way I have my kit set up is I tend to keep more survival-based stuff on the left side and more medical-based stuff on the right side. So starting with the survival side, the first thing that I have in here, this is something I've added in myself. This is a little match case. This is waterproof and it has the striker on the bottom. And you just open it up at the top. And inside I have a bunch of matches. And these matches that I have in here are actually waterproof matches as well. So I've got double the waterproof. But I like having the plastic container as opposed to the cardboard box that the matches come in. Just keeps them protected a little better. They store a little nicer. So I have that. Now I don't tend to use matches all that often. This isn't my choice for starting fires really. Usually if I'm intending to have a campfire when I go out, I will bring a lighter of some kind, and both the stoves that I have are self-igniting isobutane stoves. I do have one new stove that I have yet to try that is a twig stove, so I might end up using matches for that. I'm not sure yet, but I just like to keep these in my pack just in case. Moving on, another fire starting tool is called Survival Steel, and it is from the brand mycoolgadgets.com. I don't know if you can see the name there. But it just has the actual steel part and then a striker, and you can get sparks from it. I have tried to get sparks from this just playing around. It's a little bit tricky to do. I don't, once again, actually make fires with this. I will bring a lighter instead, but it is a good emergency tool backup to have. The next thing that I have in here, I also have the instructions for it. This is called a figure 9 rope tightener. Once again by the same brand as the little keychain, so Night Eyes. I just have the cardboard that it came with because it has all the instructions for how to use it on here, and I'm not that familiar with this piece of gear yet that I can do away with this. But essentially this little piece of gear, you can attach a rope to one end and connect a different rope end through the other and tighten it. So it kind of takes away the place of needing fancy knots. I like to dabble with a few different knots, but I'm not the best at knots. I actually want to I know they have little plastic knot cards that tell you how to tie different knots that I want to add into this kit. But I figured this was a good little tool to have in case I might end up in a situation where this would work better than having a knot, and so I have that in here. The next gear that I have in here are some aqua tabs. So this is some water purification tablets. I do have a water filter that I bring with me on my trips, but I keep these in here as a backup, as an in case something happens with my filter. Always good to have backup water filtration. The next piece of gear I have is a little pack of tissues. So little Kleenex brand, pretty standard reason why I would have it in here. Kleenexes are always handy. Following that, I have a emergency blanket, and I just have it in a little Ziploc bag. So this emergency blanket is actually the first item of gear that actually came in this kit. The rest of this I've added in myself. So this came in the kit, but it did not come in this little Ziploc baggie. I put all of the pieces that came in this kit into different baggies just to make it easier that not everything was sliding around all over the place. So this is just a survival item in case I ever find myself stranded somewhere I need extra heat. This is good to have on hand. Behind that, these little pieces also came inside the kit, and I threw them in their own Ziploc baggie. So there is a little compass that came with the kit, a whistle, and then there is the survival instructions little card at the back. The pencil I did add in. I think it's always good to have a writing tool of some kind. Usually I would opt for a pen, but in something like my backcountry camping essentials bag, it's not something I'm going through all the time. Pens are known to dry out. A pencil is just a little bit more reliable. So I keep that in here as well. So that's in that bag. And then behind that, this is actually just a notepad of paper. It's actually Star Wars branded. I've had this since I was a really young child. I think it came in a birthday party goodie bag. The front cover and some pages have been taken off, but there's still lots of paper left. It fits really nicely inside this bag, and so I keep it in there. Now, this paper is great if I need to write something down, or I can also use this as fire starter. So I keep that in there. The last item that I have in this bag is a mirror, so I'll try not to blind you guys, but this is just a cheap, not great quality little mirror. You can probably find one that's a little lighter. This one's a little bit on the heavy side, but I had it laying around, so I threw it in. This is great, again, for possibly fire starting, signaling. Really great tool for that. It also just works as a mirror if you ever need to see something a little better. It's great to have this on hand. It doesn't take up a lot of room. So that is everything that fits inside this one pocket. So I'll go ahead and put that all back in. So that is everything on the survival side. As I said, I would like to get those knot cards, and then that is everything that I keep in there. Moving on to the medical side of the bag. The first little thing I have at the top here that I added in myself is this little Advil tube. Now, I don't always keep Advil specifically in here. I often put Tylenol or whatever else I have from my home medicine cabinet. I just like the little tube that this is. So this is just medication in general. Beyond that, I have a little bag. Now, all of these did come inside of the kit. Once again, I just put it inside my own Ziploc bag. So there's a bunch of Band-Aids in this little package, all different sizes. There are some tweezers in this little plastic case that also are meant for ticks. They have the little tick key there. And on the back side, there is some afterbite insect relief little packages. So that's what's in that little baggie. The next little bag in here, once again, everything other than these tablets came with the kit. So these tablets I added in, they are from the dollar store, and these are actually little towels. So they're hard little pucks, and once you add some water to them, they unravel and make great little cloths you can use for medical purposes, any other purpose you might need in the backcountry, and then you just dispose of them in the garbage afterwards. Beyond that, there are some medical grade gloves in their own little plastic baggie in here. There are a bunch of antiseptic wipes, like a lot of them came with the kit. And then hiding back here I have a bunch of safety pins all pinned together. And that is what is in this little bag. Next up, something I added in is some hand sanitizer. So always good to have. Bathroom in the backcountry, anytime you're doing something medical, good to have hand sanitizer on hand. The next thing I have in here is some medical tape. This came in the kit. You can see it's a little dirty because it's been on a number of trips, but haven't had to use it yet, but it's always handy to have in there. Then there is a sterile elastic bandage. And this came packaged as it was in the bag, so I keep that in there. Behind those are some sterile non-woven sponges. So we've got 2 different sizes and 2 of each size. Those also came in this kit. Behind them is it's like a fabric material, a stretchy kind of bandage. You would use this if you needed to like put it on your arm or your leg or something to kind of hold things together. There's little cutout pieces inside of it. I'm not sure if you can see that. And it's just like a giant sticker on the back. So all of those came in the kit. Behind that, I just have a couple extra plastic bags. You never know when you might need a Ziploc bag for some reason. If I happen to have forgotten a garbage bag, something like this usually can fit most of my garbage for a trip, so always good to have. The last thing that I have in here is a wound care instructions little piece of paper. Just unfolds, it's double-sided, it opens up even bigger than this. This came with the kit, and I keep it in here because in case I do happen to run into a medical emergency where I need to enact first aid. I am first aid certified, but always handy to have because in stressful situations you can tend to forget. So I'll throw everything back in here. It fits quite nicely. There you can see everything put back into the kit. I do kind of wish this kit had actual zippered pockets that this stuff would stay in, because if I was to tip this upside down, things like this would start falling out. But for the most part, the rest of it's packed in there pretty good, that it would take a lot of shaking for things to actually slide around. And I do have a bit more room to add more things in if I needed to. And it just zips up quite nicely. It is a little bit on the stuffed side, like you can tell I've got some extra things in there, but it still zips up pretty easily. I can access things nicely. It doesn't take up too much room in my pack. Like I can squeeze it into some of the little gaps between my gear. But these are all great things I like to bring with me as in cases. Some of the things I do use on a more regular basis, like the hand sanitizer, but that is my first aid kit. I hope you enjoyed that and that you found that useful. Leave me a comment down below if you think there's anything I could be missing in my first aid kit or survival tool related that I should throw in here. I do sometimes go backcountry camping with my dog, my family dog, and so I am looking to make sort of a separate baggie that I can throw in here that's specifically dog related. So if you have any tips for that, leave those in the comments below as well, because I'm a little more unfamiliar with that area. But yeah, that's my first aid kit. Happy adventuring!